Okay, welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. We're just going to give it a couple of seconds, and we've got Ruth who's joined us. So great to see you, Ruth, as well. We're going to do some introductions and everything shortly, but hope you're all having a good start to the week. I see my good buddy John's in the audience. I see Bez has joined us. Jared, Shirley, good to see you all. Chris, really appreciate you. Caleb, who helped put all of this together. We've got Nicole. We're just going to wait for hopefully my fellow co-hosts today, Mitch Jackson and Francesca, to join us. So we're just going to give it sort of a few seconds, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. In the meantime, folks, if you wouldn't mind just sort of inviting some people into the audience, into the room, that will be wonderful. So yeah, we're just going to give it a few extra moments to let some more people join, and then we're going to get on to the show on the road for today. And hi Mo, hi Asad, hi Robert, appreciate you all taking the time to be here today. We don't take it for granted whatsoever. Okay, and hey Eric, appreciate you jumping in, and Eamon, appreciate you jumping in as well. It's going to be a hell of a show today. I'm super excited. Hey Tracy, thanks for popping in. Yeah, this one is one that I've been eagerly waiting for a little while. So let me jump into the intro, folks, and then we'll see how we get on. So welcome to today's LinkedIn Live audio. As I mentioned, I'm super excited because we're talking all things digital experiences are now, and of course Web3, where we have two very special guests for you all to learn from. So give me a thumbs up in the audience if you are excited to learn lots today from our star-studded panel. Awesome, we appreciate you. So let's get into it. Give us a thumbs up equally if you have been in any other LinkedIn audio events, because I'm really pioneering this and pushing this. Awesome. It's great to see that a few of you have. Okay, so do you know what most people miss when it comes to all things Web3? And did you know that Citigroup reported that the metaverse could be a $10 trillion opportunity by as early as 2030? And did you also know, according to National Research Group, that 81% of consumers who have heard about Web3 that think it will improve their happiness and well-being? And finally, over 200,000, that's the number of monthly Google searches for the word Web3 in a recent Google Trends report. And to really leverage, folks, the potential of the metaverse, a 3D, global, interconnected, immersive, real-time online space, what new ways do you truly need to connect the physical world with the augmented and virtual reality experiences? Hopefully that has piqued your interest ahead of today's discussion. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rob Hanna. I help lawyers to land their dream jobs and with their careers. I'm the host of the Legally Speaking podcast, a top 1.5% globally ranked show. We were the first legal podcast in the world to be sponsored by a legal tech unicorn and to launch our very own creator coin. And today we want to reward you for showing up. So we are giving away free legal coin to all attendees in the audience. So if you send me the word legal during this event, afterwards I will send you the details on how you can get your hands on some free legal coin and also join our fast-growing, interactive Legally Speaking Club Discord community. And if you're curious to know more, you definitely want to reach out. I'm also a speaker, advisor, investor in recruitment and legal tech startups, and founder of Virtual Insanity, a Web3 advisory business, and a LinkedIn product tester and host of LinkedIn Audio Town Hall. But aside from all of that, I'm a proud first-time father and parent to my miniature dachshund dog. But that said, those who know me, I love to collaborate with the right and like-minded people. And today, as I mentioned, along with my dear friend Mitch, who's co-hosting, we have two very special guests when it comes to all things Web3. But before we go further, I should remind you that this room is being recorded. All content shared is purely for educational purposes. No legal advice is being given. We'll be running up until the top of the hour. So please do take the time to invite people into the room room, some of your friends, connections, so we can all learn, mastermind together, take a screenshot, tag myself, tag the people on stage, share some of your learns. We're all still learning. We're still early when it comes to things Web3. So I'd love to pass the mic firstly to my very dear friend, Mitch Jackson, who undoubtedly is one of the world's best legal community builders, entrepreneurs, top trial lawyers, and leading the way, folks, when it comes to all things Web3 in the metaverse. He wrote the Metaverse Handbook and even had a certain Gary V in his Metaverse penthouse, folks, very recently. And yes, I am not making this up. So I'd love to pass the mic to Mitch for a further introduction. And then I'm going to introduce our wonderful guests today, Gabriel and Ruth, and then we're going to get into it. So over to you, Mitch.
Rob, it's so good to be here today. Hello, everyone. Welcome from Southern California. It's going to be another great week, Rob, in real life and on the metaverse. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to getting answers to all the questions you asked at the top of the show. What we do, 36 years. I always say 35, but it's 36 years this year, litigating and trying cases here in Southern California. Always had an interest in tech. Whether it was Web 2, now Web 3.0, and the metaverse. We're holding metaverse meetups multiple times each week. Love everything you do, Rob. Really appreciate the value you bring with this show in each and every episode. If anyone wants to stay connected with me, please do so here on LinkedIn or jump over to mitchjackson.com. Great to be here. Passing the mic back over to you, Rob.
Thanks, Mitch. And Mitch, by the way, has awesome communities also going on over in Discord and lots of different places and a huge following on Twitter. So just make sure you check out Mitch's profile. But of course, over to our special guest today. So we're joined firstly by the wonderful Ruth. Ruth, best known as AKA Meta Ruth. She was born an entrepreneur using the mindset to make money from a young age. She's built many projects, but most recently rocketing out of sales in the solar industry and using that momentum to drive SpeakOut, a project around supporting survivors of domestic violence. On top of that, she's Gabriel's wingman on GDS Experiences, effectively being a driving force behind the project. And that leads me very nicely onto Gabriel, who is a celebrity photographer turned successful VD and VR experience builder. He founded the perfect solution for companies looking to create meaningful consumer engagement utilizing the concept of the metaverse. So a very, very warm welcome to both. Can we get a heart emoji in the audience for our speakers giving up their time today? And if at any point you want to raise your hands, come up onto the stage, ask our panel questions. This is a safe space, folks. We're all learning. There's no such thing as a silly question. And the likelihood is, if you're thinking it, others are too. Come up and take advantage of being here. So let's kick off. I'm going to come to you first, Ruth. By all means, feel free to tell us a little bit more about you, and then let's jump into it. What brought you to Web3, and where is the money right now?
Thank you for having me. So it kind of was an accident. I come from Web 2 domain investing. And so I was on Clubhouse, which is another social audio app. And my friends were liquidating their portfolios. So if anyone doesn't know what domain investing is, like .coms, .ios, .nets, right? So I'm a hoarder and I'm a hodler. Because I've been building websites since a very young age. I just loved like collecting domains, and not saying that I'm an expert with them. I just love to collect them. And so one day I came into Clubhouse, which the Board Yacht 8 Club was founded on there. In 2021, I saw that my friends, all their profile pictures were dragons. And I was like, why is everybody like a dragon as their profile picture? They're like, yeah. We're selling our domains and we're getting into NFTs. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, I don't know what this NFT thing is. So I started drawing dragons. And so if you go into like my personal collection, you'll see that like I started drawing dragons and frogs. And as a domestic violence survivor, I have I just like recently, not recently, at the time I endured a concussion, an injury to my nose, my neck, and so it like the art side of it was healing me. So designing dragons was healing my mind, was healing my heart, it was healing my soul. So I got addicted to it. And then I was like, "Oh my god, I love this NFT thing." And then I created this microphone doll, right? And which is SpeakOut. And that's how I got into NFTs. And then I minted this doll, and from there on out, I just created this project, and I've been sticking with it since 2021. And then from my art gallery, my old one, I met Gabriel. And Gabriel was like, Meta, he's like, your dolls are so beautiful. He's like, but no, like, you can't put them in this shitty art gallery. He's like, we need to do better. And then that's where I met Gabriel, and that was it. Like, he's Walt and I'm Minnie, and like, we make dreams come true, you know? And so that's kind of how I fell into it, like a survivor story and through friends.
I love that, and thank you so much for giving that extra context around it, and also, you know, how you found, you know, art and how that's helped you as well. I think that's such a nice sort of segue, and obviously referencing Gabriel there. So, Gabriel, would love to bring you into the conversation, because obviously you come from an interesting background. It sounds like a dream job to me. So, how did your background as a sort of celebrity photographer influence this new project, and how did the pivot happen for you?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me and for taking the time to come to this amazing panel. It's my first time doing an audio kind of live over here, so just my apologies in advance if I make any mistakes. But yeah, I mean, like it was super interesting because, like, being a photographer and celebrity photographer, I shot for like LeBron James, Daniel Radcliffe, like Sean Paul, like pretty much like any celebrity and companies like Vogue Italy. So I always was like a creative guy, and I always was looking kind of like upside the box and seeing how can I bring like something different and more value. And I also have a chronic disease, which is colitis. So when we had COVID, my doctor called me and said like, "Hey, Gabriel, like we don't have vaccines, we don't know what is happening. So because of your health, you cannot get outside of your like even your house to walk your dog, because if you get COVID, you could die, right?" So I was like, "Yes, but I'm photographer. I need to be in contact with people and to make money and pay my bills." But then he was like, "Yeah, but if you do that, you will die. So you need to figure it out a way that you can start making something new or like bringing like a new service or something, right?" So I was like, "Okay, let me think about," because I was like literally 6 months inside my bedroom, like trying to figure it out what I will do, dealing with like kind of like mental health stuff. Because again, like you cannot even like sleep with your wife, right? And being in touch with your wife and stay closer and anything, right? So I was opening like a real estate company. So I got access to few equipments and cameras and new technology that, of course, being a creator, I was like, wow, okay, this is like, you can do like more than just like showing properties, right? Or like you can do more than just like using this for like a boring kind of experience. So I started like playing with NFTs. Like, I mean, I have been in the crypto space since Bitcoin was like $25, like way back. And of course, like being from Venezuela, I was like, okay, we are like kind of like not like that, like in terms of technology, we didn't even have access to US dollars. So I was like, what I will buy like this thing called Bitcoin if I won't be able to even use it. But then because of the situation, I moved to Canada. And when I get here, the Bitcoin price was like, I don't know, $68,000. And I was like, oh my God. But well, whatever, anyways, it was like, okay, it was too late. And I started like collecting NFTs. I bought like the Genesis NFTs from Snoop Dogg and The Weeknd and all these people. But I was like kind of like feeling that something was missed, right? In terms of like the experience. For me, like going to OpenSea, which till now is still using a flat website, to pay $200,000 for an NFT that then I would just share like in a flat website with a link, right? So I was like, no, we need to change this. So that's why I kind of started like, building these like virtual galleries out of like physical spaces. So I flew to New York, LA, Miami, all different like iconic locations, and I turn them into a physical twin, into a 3D twin, sorry, that now we're using as an NFT gallery or virtual space. And then from there, I went crazy. Like I did weddings, now celebrities, like pretty much like I kind of like implement these services and test them like in any like in retail industry, celebrity, fashion, like pretty much like anything, like every industry that you can imagine. We trying kind of to implement this, and yeah, it's kind of like giving results and solving problems. So I think that's why how we did the pivot from being. I'm still shooting, of course. I had a meeting with an event with LeBron James like 2 days ago, and we built an experience for Lobos Tequila and all that. But now it's more like focus on the VR experiences more than photographer.
Wow. I'm just sat here just wishing I was doing a lot of what you're getting up to with Ruth right now. That's incredible. And I want to dive a little bit deeper. And Mitch, you're doing huge things in the metaverse as well. So at any point, buddy, feel free to share your thoughts on this. But Ruth, would love to come to you around the true utility of the metaverse. What do you say to that? Because there are still a lot of people that are not buying into this. So, can you explain maybe a bit about utility and what you think is the true utility of said metaverse, or metaverses, shall I say?
So, I mean, we could really break it down into multiple things from personal to business. For me personally, like my dad lives long distance and I'm not able to see him. And it's kind of funny. Like, I did a screenshot, like, I was able to see him the other day in the metaverse and like hang out with him and talk with him. And like to me, like that was really emotional experience for me. Like I literally was like almost in tears because we haven't had the best relationship, but like we're working on it. And like it's kind of funny, like we were like checking out cars in the dealership together thanks to Gabriel, like, and like we were just like like we're able to like FaceTime each other, see each other, talk, and like it was a very close to IRL experience. And it made me feel really good to feel like I had like a relationship with my father. So that was one. And then two, like on a business experience, you're like, if you just think about locally and globally, like you're able to expand your business on a global scale. Like someone from out of the country is now able to come see your business, come to your business. And it's just like this person would never be able to go there. And so it's just really remarkable, that these people can get to know you. So you're increasing foot traffic. I mean, and maybe possibly you can lower the price, to make things more affordable due to the more increase of customers that you can get to. And on top of that, you can make things a lot more fun with animations and creations. Really put a smile on people's faces. Some people may just want to go there just for the experience alone.
I love that. Such a great point. Mitch, would love to get your thoughts on that because you're doing a heck of a lot too. And dive in, buddy.
Well, it's just listening to Ruth and Gabriel, share their stories. 100%. Ruth, I just love how you were connecting with your dad and using the metaverse to do that. And Gabriel, your journey. I mean, between the two of you, I've heard so many challenges. Okay. So many things that many people probably would have stopped if they had to overcome the digital currency issues and the different issues with moving from one country to another, the technology challenges of learning this new technology. We're spending a lot of time in learning what it takes as to what works and what doesn't, as to what the trends are moving forward. And so my question, both Ruth to you and Gabriel, is share with everyone, how did you keep yourself moving forward? When people in our audience, both live and recorded, start to embrace this technology, they're trying to figure things out, they're putting in some long hours, they're making some mistakes, there's going to be some hiccups in road, speed bumps in the road. How did you continue to push yourself forward, not be intimidated, and eventually, end up on the other side of the bridge? Just curious.
Go ahead, Gabriel.
Oh no, please go you ladies first.
Ah, you're too kind. Chivalry is not dead. For me, like I still stay in counseling, so I've been like a year and a half in counseling. That's one. Two, Gabriel has really been, we're a team. We talk every day. He Gabriel saw me have a PTSD attack leaving my house. I was outside of a building. I walked into a store and I had like a major mental breakdown. And he literally stayed on the phone with me for like an hour until I was able to drive my car. So, because we're working 18 hours a day on the computer, when you leave your house, it that alone doesn't feel like it feels like another universe. Like it's like, okay, metaverse, and then it's like universe, and it is very strenuous. And like, having someone while you're building in this world that understands you, like, "Oh, it's okay, Meta, like everything's okay." Like it just staying close to people that understand you and the challenges that you have is really important. And I have to say, like, the people in the community in Web3 that I'm surrounded by, definitely people in the audience like Nicole, Caleb, there's Eric, there's Dario, my friend David from Solar, Kate. I have a really nice community of people who like have been with me for a long time, and we talk every day. We're more about strength of relationships. We're not about followers. Like, we're not about numbers of followers. We're about strength. And I have very strong relationships with people in Web3 here where we could just jump in Discord. Like, if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, hey, I'm having coffee. Come talk to me in Discord. Like, someone's going to jump in Discord and we're going to talk about how your day is going. So that really keeps me sane, having those conversations. I don't know
I
if that
love
helps.
it does. I love the fact that you focus on community and conversations to keep that momentum moving forward. Gabriel, how about you? Anything that you can add to what Ruth just suggested?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because again, same with here. Like, I mean, like, I need to get like monthly infusions for like, I don't know, 5 hours. And Meta was with me like through the whole infusion session, like talking with me and trying, because sometimes it's kind of hard, right? So you need that. Of course, I have my wife and my family that is supporting me, but you also need like your community, your second family, because I mean, for me, all of you guys are family, right? So just by seeing that I could like make that connection between Meta Ruth father and herself, like, after not having like that good relationship, like even with Michelle Lore, like she was like, oh my God, Gabriel, because of this gallery, my sister, my daughter is so proud of me that she reposts that on like her professional social medias, and now we have a better relationship. It's like those like details that maybe for like these big companies that are trying just to make money, and they don't even care if you're like changing someone's life, or like if you really care about like how you feeling today, how can I help you, how we can use what we're doing to improve your life or like your business. So I think that is for my side what keeps me like building. And even though we're not like big company yet, we are like changing people life, and for me that's priceless.
It's interesting. Before handing the mic back over to Rob, I think what's interesting is when you change things up, when you do things in the same thing in different ways. If I'm having a conversation with a client over the phone back in the day, if we took that over to email or text, that was kind of new. It was different. It was interesting. It was actually enjoyable. And fast forward to today, what I'm noticing is sometimes when we suggest, hey, listen, let's go ahead and meet in our virtual office space, or let's go ahead and meet in our penthouse. It's fun. You can just feel the excitement from the other participants. So we can use this technology to kind of change things up, which might actually change the energy in the digital room or in real life, right? Which allows us at the end of the day to have a more fulfilling experience, specifically because of technology. And that's what I think the magic is of everything that we're talking about.
I'm loving this conversation, and hopefully you all are in the audience too. And I want to take a quick poll because I did a poll on LinkedIn just the day before yesterday. So I delivered my first talk in the metaverse in Spatial, where Mitch is absolutely rocking it right now and has awesome materials you want to check out in his penthouse and also in his hallways. And I did a poll asking, have you delivered a talk in the metaverse yet? And can you believe, folks, over 94% of people voted no. I say that because we're all early. We're all learning. Nobody has missed the boat right now. The fact you're in this room, you're listening to Ruth, Gabriel, Mitch, you're networking, connecting, you're in the right sort of spaces. I always say I am not an expert, and I've been playing around with Web3 now and have lots of things going on, but I would never deem myself an expert. So with that, I want to give you the confidence that come up onto the stage, ask a question. Maybe you're not sure about something. Maybe you don't know what Web3 is. Who cares? Use this as a chance to get used to the community, because I couldn't agree more. I know it's the most overused word in the world, but community matters. And I found the people that I've connected in the Web3 world to be so welcoming, so helpful. So please make sure you take that time. And with that, we'd love to welcome Caleb to the stage. And without Caleb, we wouldn't have been able to get our phenomenal guests, Gabriel and Ruth, today. So shout out to him. Caleb is also very quietly always in the background producing the awesome graphics you see that we share week in, week out. So really appreciate everything you do for the community and for this, Caleb. But would love for you to fire away with your questions for Ruth and Gabriel.
Yeah, 100%. No, I appreciate that. I want to take credit for the the graphics, but everything is through me, not by me. So I definitely have been inspired by other people. But yeah, no, 100%. I'm very interested in hearing about the GDS experience in terms of data tracking, right? Because with Virtual Insanity, we're very, very interested in getting brands from Web 2 into Web 3 because it's profitable for everybody involved. Well, for one, that's a big reason why I'm interested in Web 3. I mean, two, community, obviously overused word, but there's just so much about Web 3 that's just exciting. And but tell me about the data tracking and the GDS experiences, either Metaruth or Gabriel, because I remember talking to Metaruth. We talked the other day, and you were telling me, you were just blowing my mind. I was like, there's so many things that you can track and see how people are behaving while they're looking at people's products being displayed in an experience, and there's points of data that you can track that you can't do in real life. So I'll leave it at that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Go ahead, Gabriel. You take this one.
Perfect. Thanks, bro, and nice to see you here, and thanks for putting all these together and always bringing like good people and giving us the opportunity to learn from others too. Yeah, with data, I mean that is super funny because when I met Ruth, we had like kind of like a healthy competition about like click radios and stuff like that, right? Because like when you try to when you do deals with big companies and corporations, they like super focused in data and all these like details that you can use to monetize or just to see how people is reacting and behaving inside the experience. So we have like different type of data from impressions, visits, average time that people spend inside the gallery. We have my favorite one, which is a heat map. So you can actually see where people is staying the most in any area inside the virtual store. Let's say we have like retail stores, like we turn those physical spaces or stores into a 3D twin. So now, we had a client that he thought that the end of the store was like the hottest spot from the gallery, right, or the store. But then when we did the 3D twin, we saw that nobody was like getting actually to the end of the store in the virtual representation, right? So that means that now you are getting data and information that you can implement in the real physical store to improve your sales. Because if you are trying to sell like the new collection and you're putting that in the back of the store, now you see that people don't go there and they will do the same in the real life because it's a 3D representation out of your physical store, right? So now you can use that data from the heat map to change, like in the real physical store, your collection. So now you know that you need to put your hottest collection at the entrance of the store because there is where more people is staying, right? Versus the end of the store. We have like again, clicks. So let's say you have like a sponsors inside where people can click on, let's say, Coca-Cola logo. Now we can say like, hey, Coca-Cola, 500,000 potential clients, they click on your logo and they went to your website. So that means that through our experience, we are sending you 500 potential new clients, customers to your brand or business. So you need to pay for that because that's extra exposure and new clients, right? So what else we have? We have like, again, charge device, so we can see how many people is entering to the experience using mobile devices, VR headsets, iPads, desktop, and we are getting that 90 to 95% of the customers, they're using mobile devices. So now if you're building something, now you know that your customers are using mobile devices, so that metaverse or like virtual store or virtual experience should be mobile friendly, because if not, you're going to lose 95% of their market, right?
Gabriel, you've got to say that again for me, please, because I don't think people appreciate the fact that you do not need to use a headset like an Oculus Quest 2 to access the metaverse. What was that number again? 90%?
Yeah, I will say like even 98%, because not even one, we have been building experiences the past, I don't know, 4 years, and I'm not seeing not even 1% of the shared devices being VR headsets, not even desktop. Like 95% to 97% will be mobile devices. 3 to 5% best scenario will be desktop. Maybe like 0.00 whatever iPad. So nobody's using VR headsets right now.
I'm just loving this conversation. I'm fascinated by this, and I hope all of you in the audience are as well. Give us a thumbs up if this is sort of opening your eyes. You know, particularly like Mitch always says, and why we do these rooms. We want to make it fun. We want to make it educational, but also to help you make action, because Web3 is for business folks as well. It's a new kind of way to do business, in my experience. These experiences where we can all work together or help each other and actually do great things, and there are real business opportunities with this. So Caleb, great question. Thanks for sharing that and all of your work. I guess I want to switch to where you're hanging out, Ruth and Gabriel. Obviously, we've been connected through Caleb. I'd like to think that I'm in most of the right places, but I'm always keen to learn. So where do you see NFT enthusiasts, Web3 builders, thought leaders hanging out? You know, is it Twitter? Is it Reddit? Is it, which thought leadership places are you sort of hanging out in? I'd love to know a little bit more, or one or two new places I may not be aware of. Ruth, would you like to start?
Sure. So, I definitely am a Web3 like enthusiast, like nonstop. So I definitely have seen the trends. Um, it's Twitter Spaces. I mean, it's Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces is a place where you will find collectors. Twitter Spaces. Just think about it like this: a virtual city. It's like Gotham City, right? Like literally. Like just think about all these different characters. Like think about New York City being like all different NFT, like instead of human beings, just think about like apes and monkeys and goblins, right? But they all represent NFT projects, right? Like Twitter Spaces is a virtual city. It's a city that never sleeps, Twitter Spaces. Any time of it's like Hong Kong. Any time of the day, Twitter Spaces is up and running for Web3. You will find you could find the best like diamonds in the rough. Okay, you're gonna find the next up and coming project. You're gonna learn about crypto on there. You're gonna build your following extremely fast on there. um it is it blows my mind. So I started on Clubhouse, which really has drained out. It's died out as of right now. I was really big into Connect Club. That's at the moment, like I'm not finding any traction. So I move, right? And I move with, where I gotta follow what's, where the trend is. And I absolutely love it. It's got entertainment as well. You see the culture, you can see the people who are really dedicated. You could see the people like right now during the bear market, you can see like what projects, are, possibly going to take off because, a lot of people are no longer like on Twitter anymore, but it's pumping nonstop. And I enjoy it. I love it. So I hang out in Twitter Spaces a lot, but you know, and Discord. Like I spend a lot of time in my Discord. I nurture my community. So we do like mixers, we do art classes. So we teach free art classes, like 3D art classes for because art therapy. And so, on Sundays we do gratitude Sunday on Twitter Spaces. So right now it's definitely, yeah, definitely Twitter. But once Gabriel and I launch our twin galleries, which is like the metaverse, I'm probably going to be switching the community events in Discord to the SpeakOut metaverse instead.
That is super exciting. And Gabriel, anything from you? Are you sort of echoing what Ruth said there in terms of where you're hanging out and acquiring knowledge and networking, or anything else you would add to that?
Well, yeah, no, pretty much like same thing. Like I'm really like sometimes really bad with technology, and now we have our Discord and yeah, Twitter Spaces, and yeah, sometimes in real life trying to go to events here in Toronto, and trying to educate people like through Instagram and pretty much like all the social medias. So in that way we can bring and share like all our knowledge and right information to the Web2 users and everyone looking to implement all these technologies and see how they can really use it in an efficient way.
And that leads nicely on to what I was going to ask next, really, because again, a lot of people not sure about Web3 and what it really can entail or what it can do. From your perspective, and I'm happy to go to you, Ruth, first, and Gabriel. What are some of the biggest world problems that can be solved with technology brought forth by this Web3 movement? Because we're looking for solutions in this world to problems. So how can Web3 help? Anything you would say to that, Ruth?
Yeah, and I think Gabriel can definitely agree with me because we're very similar. Definitely like neurodivergence, students who struggle in school. Like I graduated high school as a hairdresser. Like I was literally not going to pass high school. So in order for me to pass high school, I was sent to beauty school and I learned math from cutting hair and literally mixing chemicals like hair dye and things like that. So I graduated from a tech high school. And so technology is a really great way for students to learn. It's like time is up, like no more shoving people into a box and saying this is the only way you can learn. So I think being hands-on and teaching like you can learn geometry through 3D art on Blender, right? So this is going to be a really great way to use how to teach marketing, branding, build like virtual schools, like other ways to teach education through art and hands-on. And then also for me, like I'm using it for like a domestic violence awareness. Like I'm teaching art therapy out of there, right? Domestic violence awareness out of there. Because for me, like colors heal me. Virtual reality heals my brain. Like after my concussion, I will never be the same person ever again. I will never be the same. And so it will heal people, it will help people with PTSD. When you're a domestic violence survivor, you go down and you feel like a mental patient when you go to like a building, right? Here, if someone wants to get support, they want to get advice, why wouldn't you want to come to a GDS experience where we have like snow falling from the sky and like Harry Potter and like, dolls and like just like happy go lucky land. Like, you want to make them have hope. You want to make them feel positive, and have access to it at the fingertips. Like a lot of domestic violence survivors don't even have a car. Maybe all they have is a phone. And with us, it's a it's mobile friendly. It's mobile friendly. It's computer friendly. Um, Decentraland, Sandbox, Crypto Voxels, they're not, you know? So it's really important too to have a very good onboarding process. And onboarding processes into Web3 take a long time, right? If you're going to go into the metaverse. So, this is like a really great segue, GD Experiences, before you actually go full on Web3, if that makes sense.
It makes absolutely perfect sense. And I just want to sort of pick up on what blew my mind when you said geometry can be learned through 3D art through Blender. I just think in the world, I could never have imagined that like so many years ago when I was sat in my maths class many, many moons ago. Gabriel, would love to jump to you to get your thoughts on that, because we're getting some really good, use cases of how this technology is going to make the world a better place. So same sort of question to you. Some of the biggest world problems could be solved with this technology. How do you feel that Web3 can really contribute to that and make the world a better place?
Yeah, I think like to add into what Meta's Ruth say, like, I mean, is I think like access, right? Because again, like just by the fact that you can deliver or like offer access to this space, which is a safe space for you to go there to get hope, as Ruth say, like to see that, through art or NFTs or like VR, now you have like something different that you can focus on, even though you're going through a bad experience or you went through a bad experience. Now it's like you have this space that you can go there, feel safe, like meet other people from all around the world, like learn about Web3 and kind of like being like a bridge, right? Because the problem is, like, I always like to use this example that Meta said, that imagine if you give someone that doesn't know how to drive a Ferrari, of course he's going to, go straight to the wall or like get killed because you don't know how to drive. So this is what is happening, right? Like people building on Web3 metaverses, they're like the way straight to a lamp that they're going to crash because now you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the right information about how you can use it properly. So I think like access and again like going to mental health, we can help like all these different like passions that I have a close case because my brother has a bipolar, an intellectual disability. So I built a virtual experience for him, and the mood was like total different. Like he went from like 6 months depressed, like really depressed, to 3 months like super happy, just because now he's seeing his art he paints in a virtual gallery that now is your virtual store that people is buying your paintings. So now you feel that you're part of the society, right? That you're not just like someone that, oh my God, we need to take care of because, that's the only thing that we can do for you. Now it's like, no, we have new virtual and Web3 solutions that can help improve, the way they live, how they feel. And to talk about the mental health part, right? But we can apply the same to any industry. And now we have people looking for new solutions, small businesses owners, how I can bring more way of revenue if I cannot bring people physically to my store. So I think like if technology is used properly, we can really do good things. Of course, if it's not used properly, we can go like super wrong and create more problems. And, that's not the idea.
Right, exactly. So, like for business owners that are suffering, this is a great in addition to their business. It's an extension for them to capture more business and fun.
More eyeballs, more opportunities. Gabriel, if you would be kind enough when we're done and shoot me a link to, I think you said your brother's, gallery in the metaverse or online. I'd love to take a look at it. Perfect example, everyone, of the power of community. Is over the weekend, we were working on some things in the metaverse, and I had a brilliant, gifted artist stop by one of my spaces, Matt Hendrick. And for those of you that don't know Matt, definitely follow him on LinkedIn. I actually shared his art and his work and his story on all my socials over the weekend. It's Matt Hendrick, Hendrick. Matt was involved in a very tragic automobile accident in his early 20s and now paints using his mouth, and his artwork is just beautiful. And so we actually purchased one of his NFTs on Saturday or Sunday, and we've connected. And had it not been for the metaverse, Matt and I would not have known each other. Had it not been for the digital virtual galleries that Matt has up via Linktree, I would not have seen his work. And had it not been for the metaverse, I wouldn't have had I consider Matt already a new friend in my life. And so this is the power of tapping into and embracing and including this as a new part of our everyday digital dance. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's connecting all of us with amazing people from all around the
And
world.
there's, it's happening no matter what. Like, so it's like, if you don't start practicing, you will be left behind. It's just, I mean, if you look back in history, I mean, I was around for the dot-com boom. I was building websites, I was coding. I'm a 90s baby. I was around. From AOL, from the dial tone, right? I was around for the pagers, believe it or not. I had the first calculator that had text message. I used to text my friends in class off calculators, right? So literally, it's happening no matter what. Like, technology is like evolving and extremely fast. And we have to practice it, and we have to make sure that we're onboarding and bridging the gap. And it's and another thing that kind of a little bit bothers me is, like, I think a lot of people are doing a lot of IRL events for Web3, and I just think that we need to focus more on throwing more Web3 events instead of IRL events. Because people are like, yeah, we're Web3, and it's like, okay, so why don't you throw a Web3 event if you're so Web3? And I'm not saying IRL is bad, but, like, enough with the booths and feeling like we're in a cafeteria or a gym. If we're Web3 pioneers, let's do it. Like, let's go. Like, my friends and I, we threw a concert in the metaverse. We had over 2,000 people show up, right? So people need to, like, really practice what they preach as well.
Well said. I think it's great, and I think that in real life experience, we've done that, but change. We have to embrace. Let's actually really push the needle and make these experiences as best we can. And I just want to, at that point, bring into the conversation our very dear friend Francesca Witzburg, who, folks, if you are not following, I would highly encourage you to do so. She's one of the world's best trademark and copyright lawyers. She's counseled top businesses, celebrities, artists, influencers. She has and runs her own Decentral Lawyer social media handles, and she helps you on all aspects of trademark and brand protection related to Web3s and NFTs. Almost a non-negotiable person that you need to know. And on top of that, she's also a mother. She's also handling weddings for her family, running her own business, and everything else. So we're really grateful for you. Francesca is part of our resident panel with myself and Mitch and Caleb. So we appreciate you. And if you're around, Francesca, we'd love to chuck you into the conversation, because we've got Gabriel and Ruth who have been talking about their Web3 journeys, what they're getting up to in the metaverse. We've talked a little bit about NFTs. And I think at this point, it's so important that we echo and remind people of the importance of protecting all the hard work that you do. And perhaps we'd love to just get your sort of, 10 to 20 seconds thoughts or a bit more around sort of IP protection, and just to educate our audience on things they need to be thinking about. Because obviously it's great that we get excited, there's fun, but we need to ensure that we're protected. So I'd love for you to jump in.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob, for that introduction. And yes, being a full-time attorney, Web3 fanatic, mom of two, and sister to someone getting married this week who is not very organized in wedding planning right now. It's been a little crazy. So thank you for your patience, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. Thank you guys so much. And so I guess I would love to just give like maybe a 60 seconds. I will try to do this in 60 seconds of the top 3 tips to consider with NFT projects from an IP perspective. So, okay, hitting that clock. Ready, go. The first thing is the name that you're going to use. So if you just throw up an NFT project name, you have to think, is that name also available as a trademark? Because you don't want to step on anyone's toes. So you'll work with a trademark attorney just to make sure it's available for your use or registration. Then the second thing is copyrights. The art or the media that you're going to use as the NFT may be protectable with the copyright. And also, you want to make sure that you're not infringing anyone else's copyright with the artwork. And the third and the last piece is the contract piece. So if you're having an NFT project, what are the terms? What are the license terms that you're giving to your purchasers? Or if you're in the metaverse and you're selling NFTs that can link up to the metaverse, you have to be really careful with what are the terms of use with that respective metaverse. Okay, I think that came under 60 seconds. But there you go.
I think it did, and it was super powerful. And I think definitely, folks, if you're listening to this live, make sure you make a note of those. And if you're listening to the recordings, jot those down and make sure you follow Francesca, not only here, but over on Twitter and everywhere else across socials, Instagram, etc., because she's providing lots of free content to help us all as we talk so much and openly about community. And so with that, then, we'd love to come back to Ruth and Gabriel on sort of the future. We're obviously talking about the now, which is kind of the now and the future, but how do you think the world is going to look in, say, 3 years? And I appreciate it's difficult to predict, but considering this full influence of virtual experiences we've had at this point, so how do you see things in the next few years? Gabriel, would love to come to you first, and then Ruth.
Yeah, 100%. Like, to be honest, how I see in it, and the kind of like response that I'm getting and the feedback that I'm getting from our clients, I think like in the next 2-3 years, we're going to see an increase of like 3D virtual experiences, depending on like, I mean, because we're seeing like all these companies and all these projects trying to figure it out, but again, like they're limiting you in terms of like you need to use a gaming desktop, right? That is like $6,000 to get access to that metaverse. So I think like VR is not going to be like full kind of like adopt like in the next 3-4 years for what we're seeing, because for example the Central Land, they have been in the space like for I think like 5-7, even not just like recently, and they haven't been able to offer you a mobile option, right? So I'm assuming that will take few quite years, but I'm seeing an increase of like VR and the type of experiences and solutions that we're building in terms of like you can get access using your cell phone. You don't need to attach that into crypto or like VR. You can use fiat. This kind of like, again, as I said, the bridge between Web2 to full Web3. And I think like we're going to start seeing more like VR experiences. Of course, like if they're done properly, they're going to succeed. But I'm seeing more adoption and people more like interest and open to see how they can utilize VR experiences to boost sales, reach more people worldwide, offer a more immersive and efficient user experience. And yeah, that's kind of like I see it for now.
Awesome. And yeah, I'd absolutely agree. And Ruth, would love to get your sort of thoughts or anything you would build on there from what Gabriel just shared.
Yeah, so I think for the next year and a half, I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes. I think it's going to be a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets. And then I think the next year and a half, it's going to be rebuilding, a lot of rebranding. And I think we're not going to see the true successful metaverses and the true successful brands, like the really strong ones, until probably 3 years. People are rushing way too much. I know I say that this moves very fast, right? But when I'm saying that it moves very fast, I'm not saying that you need to act fast, right? And I I have so many friends that are just dumping money. Like, oh, I just dumped 30,000 here in this metaverse and 30,000 there in that metaverse. And oh my God, I should have listened to you and just done this and that. And now they're in debt and now the market crash. And, there's all these new metaverses coming out and people don't really realize, okay? And that's just the metaverse. Now, an NFT project, it's not a JPEG. Okay. I mean, if you are a good project, if you really want to be a good project, it's going to take over a year. This is probably harder than any business I ever built. Okay. And this is not about profit for me, right? If you want to be really good, this is exhausting. Okay. So once you get in, and you really get in, you're like, oh my God, right? So you really got to be like prepared for this. So I think, I mean, I've seen projects start, disappear, start, disappear, start, disappear. So where it's going to be about, yeah, 3 years till we see who's really the successful ones and who's really in it. And we're going to see a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets. And that's why I put on my Twitter the other day. I am so glad that I did not drop my NFT collection because I've seen so much ugly truth revealed in Web3, from exchanges to marketplaces, right? To rug pulls, where I'm like, oh my God, my poor little microphone dolls could have been harmed, right? Or my community, right? Security. I mean, this is, if you don't have the time to invest into this, then you really can't be in this. You got to go all in and really educate yourself. But as far as the metaverse is, what Gabriel and I are offering is the 2.5, and that is what you need. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into. You can't just drop 30,000 into a Web3. I mean, you can, but when are you gonna? Who's gonna build it for you? And how are your customers getting there? And do they have the right laptop? Can their laptop handle it? And what do they know about cryptocurrency? If that metaverse only allows them to enter with a crypto wallet, are you going to teach them about the safety of crypto? Because then guess who they're going to come after when they said they lost all their money just to go buy a shirt from your store in the metaverse, and now they just got hacked for a $20 shirt, and they put in 50, I don't know, $50, right? I don't know, and now they're coming after you. So there's an onboarding process. You need to do a 2.5 with educational courses and then do the Web3 once your community is prepared and ready. That's my personal opinion.
Since I'm on stage, let me just share. I'll second what Ruth said. Everyone needs to do their due diligence. You need to be careful. You need to separate, for example, what a new entrepreneur who hasn't had a business before, who really doesn't understand what it takes to run a successful business. You have that individual opening up something in the metaverse, as opposed to established business owners who have been there and done that and understand that the metaverse is simply another tool. It's another way to build relationships and share your products and services and provide exemplary client experiences. And what I'm seeing as an attorney, as someone that's been around the block and around the sun way too many times, is that the individuals that understand this is a tool, common and everyday business practices that we would use in real life, are even more important on the metaverse. I just on the Zoom with Alina, who's down in our audience. Wonderful conversation, by the way. Everybody follow her, about the power of communication and persuasion and how we can communicate better in spaces. Matt, I gave you a shout out a little bit earlier. The artist I shared with everyone, Matt Hendrick, has joined us. He is in the audience. Everyone tap and follow Matt and see all the good things he's doing. I think actually the metaverse is here right now. That's where I'm going with this. If you're set up with the right mindset, if you understand what you want to do and you're ready to dip your toe in the digital sandbox, now's the time to do it. Be early. Be careful with how you go about doing it. Doesn't take a lot of money right now to be playing in the correct metaverse spaces, okay? But think about it and develop a plan that allows you to build that metaverse presence that's win-win for everyone involved. And take your time and don't get wrapped up in FOMO, fear of missing out. Instead, look at the technologies, look at the tools, embrace them into what you're already doing, just like Elena and Matt are doing, and some other friends of mine here. And I think you're going to enjoy the experience. So I just wanted to share, I am on stage. I actually think it's happening right now. I think it's going to be fine-tuned and perfected over the next 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. Absolutely. Everything gets better with time, just like a good bottle of wine. But having said that, we're seeing amazing results right now. And so I want everyone to really just take a look and give consideration to everything that's been discussed, so that you can figure out what's the best way for you to move forward in these exciting new digital spaces.
Well said, and what a way to sort of bring our event to a close. And I hope, folks, you have enjoyed today, because there's so much wisdom been shared, particularly around, again, just trying to make you all feel comfortable that there is no shortcuts to this, folks. Yes, I would definitely say one course of action to do: follow all of the speakers on stage. I don't care if you follow me, but please make sure you follow Gabriel, Ruth, Caleb, Francesca, and Mitch, because they are in Web3. They're immersed in Web3. They're either helping people create things in Web3, protect the things that they're doing in Web3. Francesca, make sure you connect with the likes of Ruth and Gabriel. Mitch, make sure you reach out to Mitch. He's doing wonderful things in the metaverse, probably one of the most connected people you need to know right now. But just remember, there are no shortcuts to success, folks. There is no overnight success. It does take time. And the best thing you can do is join these communities, take action. So before we close, I'd love to just give the final opportunity to Gabriel and Ruth as our guests today, to where we can find you and how we can support you, and anything else you would like to share before we wrap up. So in sort of 60 seconds or less, we'd love to come to you first, Ruth, on where we can find you, how we can help you, and any final words.
Okay, you can definitely find me in my Discord. It's kind of like I'm a turtle that hides under a shell. You could definitely find me in my Discord. So if you go to my link tree, you'll see the SpeakOut Discord. That's where I usually hang out, because I'm taking some time off of Twitter, because Gabriel and I are working on releasing our metaverse together for the end of the summer. You can find like all my social links in my link tree. If you go to SpeakOut NFT and scroll down to more info, you'll find me there. But yeah, Twitter Spaces, link tree here, and definitely Discord for now.
Awesome. Well, take action on that, folks. And finally, Gabriel, over to you.
Yeah, same thing. Like, we pretty much, like, if you find Meta Rule, you will find me. But yeah, you can go to my Twitter, which is GD Galleries. And then from there, you will see my link tree. So you can go to our new Discord. We're still working on that, because, like, as much as I hated like Discord, now I know that it's a good tool for like keep, the community like up to date, like what we're doing, projects, like news and all that. So yeah, I think like for now we're trying to build that Discord, and yeah, just like try to have fun.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just like so blown away. Each week it just gets better and better and better. And we've had some incredible guests on over the last few weeks. It really is, folks, incredible what you can do if you put yourself out there and get into these communities. So we'd just like to say thank you so much once again to our resident panel, the wonderful Mitch Jackson, our dear friend Francesca Witzburg. Really appreciate you making it today. We know you've got so much going on, but that's her dedication, folks, to wanting to come here, serve, help people, and protect people when it comes to the world of Web3 and NFT. So please make sure you connect with Francesca. Thank you to Caleb, who is constantly working behind the scenes to make all of these things happen and make us look so fun and interactive. So without him, we definitely wouldn't be able to show up week in, week out. And of course, to our two very, very special guests, the wonderful Ruth and Gabriel. I'm super excited. I'd learned a ton once again. I always come to these maybe as a host, but always as a student. And I feel like I've educated myself tremendously. And I'll be listening back to this recording, as I'm sure all of you should too. So thank you all so much, folks. We hope you have a great rest of the week. And if you have ideas, suggestions, reach out. We're all ears, and we'll hopefully see you again soon for some of our Monday Web3 events. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.